sermon on the gospel today. I'm doing a sermon on Acts today. And the reason I chose Acts, because the big thing you saw on the cover of the bulletin was breaking the chains. And when you first read this story, most people would interpret it all about Paul and about how God freed them from prison because they were wrongly put in prison for their beliefs and things like that. I had my trouble with this one this week, I won't lie. I kind of struggled with this reading. Because in this reading, you have this woman in the beginning of this reading. And she has the spirit of divination upon her. It doesn't say the spirit's evil. It doesn't say it's a demon. Nor is she saying anything that isn't really untrue. She is proclaiming that these men, just like the prophets before, are servants, if you wish, slaves, she calls them. Well, she's a slave, so if you're serving a master, in her mind, you're a slave, are serving the Master Most High. And this is all she's saying, and that they know the way to salvation. And Paul gets annoyed with this woman who's simply saying what is the truth. And so he uses this gift that Christ gave him to cast the spirit out of this woman. Now, you never find out what happens to this woman. She was very valuable to her master. And we'd like to think, she's no longer financially valuable to her master, so, he let her go free. Well, we know that's not true. That's not what happened to this poor woman. She lost her value to her master. She no longer made him money. So either she was sold again, or she was cast into some lower level job in that family. And then Paul, in his annoyance, took away this woman's gift. He diminished her because he was annoyed. He did not diminish her for a righteous reason. She wasn't possessed by an evil spirit. She wasn't frothing at the mouth. She wasn't like the boy that Jesus came down from the mountain when was possessed by demons and healed him. He was annoyed. And then, of course, he then gets beaten. Jesus doesn't, there's no intervention when he gets beaten. He gets punished. And then after he spends time in prayer and singing hymns, then he becomes free. And I found that it just disturbed me because Paul is also the one, and I try to like Paul, I really do, because he's quite wise in many places. In many places, Paul's quite wise. But Paul is also the one disciple who's famous for saying that women should be silent in church. Boy, if that were true, so much things in the church would never get done. Gentlemen, don't get me wrong. You give major contribution to the church, and we love you very much. But let's face it, ladies, most of the time are the backbones of the church. And Paul wanted women to be silent in church. If women were silent in church, we wouldn't be where we are right now, as the church goes. If women were silent, there would be a lot of things that wouldn't be happening in this world. And so it really grated on me that he's going to turn around. This woman has a holy gift. It's not an evil gift. She's not saying anything that he's not already saying, but because he had got annoyed, he said, your gift's gone. And it's like, really? How can you do that? And then the big caption is, break the chains in society. Well, how can we break the chains and the oppression that other people are facing if we act like Paul? If we diminish other people because we don't like their gift, or we diminish other people because we think their gift isn't as good as ours. We have a bunch of blowhards out there right now who spend their entire time diminishing other people. Diminishing other people for their gender, diminishing other people for their religious beliefs, or their lack of religious beliefs, or diminishing other people because they are from a different culture, or diminishing other people because they're elderly, or diminishing other people because they're young, or diminishing other people because of their sexual preference, or their gender, or what bathroom they choose to use. We have this whole society that is built right now on nothing but diminishing other people. Diminishing others for their differences. why didn't Paul look at her and say to her when she said, you are slaves of the Most High. Yes, we're servants of the Most High. Yes, you're right, we do. We can reach out and talk to you about what you need to be saved. We can talk to you about salvation. That's evangelism. Let me talk to you about salvation. Not, I don't like what you have to say. I don't like how you look. I don't like what you stand for, so I don't want to talk to you about salvation. Paul missed a perfect opportunity to reach out and convert someone. Instead of converting her master, who has all these slaves, and who may or may not be treating them appropriately, he ends up converting the Roman prison guard. Hey, great, we got one of them. We got his family, but how many other people could Paul have converted, could Paul have evangelized to, if for just 1 minute he would have put his own arrogance aside and his own annoyance aside and went, well, this lady's really annoying me, but she's saying the right words. If I take her with me, maybe she can reach more women. Maybe she can reach more slaves. Because she was revered in that community. She was their fortune teller. But he was so upset about her gift and saw her as a threat to him that he diminished who she was. He diminished this other human being. And frequently in our society we have this problem. We feel threatened by someone who's different, or we feel threatened by someone because maybe we're insecure about our own gifts. We're insecure about what we have to bring to the table. And rather than embracing someone else's gifts and putting them on our side, or embracing someone's differences and learning from them, we have a tendency to diminish them. Or worse yet, we diminish ourselves. We look at someone who's maybe more attractive than we think that we are, maybe someone who has a better car than we do, or someone who has what seems to be a better family life than we do, a better home than we do, and we diminish ourselves. And when you diminish yourself or anybody else, you're diminishing God. And that, my friends, is one of the biggest sins we can do as people, is diminishing others, because then you're diminishing God in them. The Buddhists have this thing about bowing to the divinity in each one of us. The Buddhists believe that each one of us has a spark of divinity in us, that each one of us carries that divine spark. And so when you wish ill on someone else, that you are wishing ill on the divine. And in Christianity, we all believe we were created by God. We all believe that God created us, put his hand on us, touched our soul, formed us, created us. So when you diminish someone else, or when you diminish yourself, you're diminishing God as well. And that's what Paul is doing here. Paul, who is supposed to be one of the greatest champions for the church, is diminishing God. And yet, when he diminishes God, even though God lets him take a good punishment for it, God doesn't intervene. God could have stopped the punishment if he really wanted to. But after Paul prays and sings hymns and does this, and hopefully there are hymns of forgiveness, hopefully Paul, in the time he was in jail, saw the wrong way he was going. Then God breaks the chains and he is free. The chains of oppression are everywhere. They're not just the cultural oppressions we have, the racial oppressions we see, the gender oppression we see going on right now. And that's all everywhere. And that's where we have all these big fights about right now. But truly, we're oppressing ourselves by not being willing to understand each other and accept each other for their differences and understanding each other's differences. We're diminishing God in ourselves, and we're diminishing God in each person we encounter. Rather you agree or disagree with a lifestyle someone chooses, a gender which someone was born or not born, or whatever you want to talk about it. The bottom line is everyone here, every creature, every plant, everything on this planet was created in our belief by God. God does not make mistakes. God makes us each unique, with different values, different beauties, different skills, different means. And all of us have a divine spark, a divine love living within us. So when you diminish yourself or you diminish someone else, you diminish God. So today's major lesson is twofold. One, love yourself, and you love God. Love others, and you love God. When you treat yourself poorly, or you treat someone else poorly, you're not only hurting them and diminishing them, but you're diminishing yourself and diminishing God. And that's not the way Christians are supposed to be. It's not our job to diminish others. It is our job to lift up others. Evangelism is about lifting up someone else to the highs. It's not about putting someone down to the lowest so that you can be better. No one's ever got someplace and stayed there by stepping on the backs of someone else. Not in the divine way. And not on their own.